Did the police ever find the real vampire?
But it is put down as a case of vampirism. I think it's the only case of vampirism recorded.
We're at the London Film and Comic Con, and I'm here with filmmaker Chris Stone, creator, writer, and director of Blood and Bone China. Tell us the story of Blood and Bone China.
It's set in 1897, all set in Stoke-on-Trent. It basically revolves around disappearances of people going missing in Stoke, and the local doctor gets taken, and word travels to his brother in the countryside. He has to travel to Stoke to discover his whereabouts, and dark things start to happen to him, including vampires.
There are a lot of influences. See, the obvious one is Hammer. There's the scene where he turns up at the house and he says, "I'm the new Doctor." There's Doctor Who in there as well.
There's Doctor Who, Indiana Jones, Star Wars. It's all the films that I grew up on when I was a kid. It's like everything all rolled into one, which is basically what George Lucas did with Star Wars. It was all his influence, but this is all mine. So this is my personal little project. So there's a lot of me in there.
There's obviously a lot of talent behind this, not just obviously yourself, but the people behind the scenes, production designer, costume, makeup.
Yeah, we're all professionals. We're all putting our time in for free, and it's really amazing experience. We're all like a little family unit. It's great.
How easy is it to actually find these wonderful locations?
See, I'm very lucky. I've grown up in Stoke-on-Trent, so I've seen these locations every day for the last 27 years, and I've had a story in mind for a long time now of utilising all the local museums and streets. So it kind of tailor-made the story to the locations that I had.
How long did it take to actually film it?
Filming, we're still going now, so we've been kind of shooting it on and off since November last year.
Was there anything particularly behind the concept?
Well, no, not really, just kind of going up and seeing these Victorian landmarks, and I've been talking to one of the lead actresses for a while now about doing a web series, so something that we could fit in with all our other, her acting and my directing jobs. And then I found out there was a real vampire story, well, a real vampire case that happened in Stoke-on-Trent in the 70s. We've just kind of tweaked it and set it in 1897. But I mean, it's the real house in our series is the real house where the dead body was found, and the police officer lent us all the original case notes, his notebook, so it's all historically accurate.
It was like a Polish person, I think, who was just so scared of vampires he actually killed himself.
That's right. He was absolutely terrified that the vampires were going to get him. Well, his whole room was something like out of 7, so there's crosses everywhere, just stuff to ward off vampires. But he slept with like a sock full of salt over his head and garlic in his mouth, but ended up choking on the garlic.
Did the police ever find the real vampire?
But it is put down as a case of vampirism. I think it's the only case of vampirism recorded by the police.
From shooting to editing a typical episode, how long would that take to make?
Well, there's no such thing as a typical episode. Like episode 9 actually done in one day, but takes 2 weeks to edit. Then some of them take 4 or 5 days to shoot, but then it's quite quick. It depends on technicalities and if it needs ADR in, because we're shooting in museums while they're still open, so you can hear the general public in the background. So that means we've got to revoice everybody, we've got to do the sound effects. So it literally varies in time.
I think the costumes are fantastic. Is it easy to source everything like that? Not just the costumes, but the props?
It's quite tricky, but luckily I've got some really good contacts in kind of film industry that just lent us some Victorian costumes, and we built a lot of the actors made their own costumes from scratch. They really developed their character, made all the props. John, who plays Alexander, he made and designed the gun that he uses in 8 and 9. And it provided all the weapons and stuff, so it's fantastic.
And the casting process, how long did that take? You managed to get working actors like Rachel Shenton, who must obviously have to film amongst her other commitments. I mean, how easy has that been as well?
It's been interesting. With the other actors, it was about 3 weeks of like heavy auditions, just trying to get the right person, because it is very kind of drama and there's a lot of talking in there. You've got to get the exact right actor to portray your character. So it was a long process, but I think we got the exact right cast, and everybody's lovely to work with. As I said, it's like a little family now. Did
you script the entire series before filming?
Yeah, we got the entire script down 1 to 12, but as we go along, things develop, and some things work better than others, so we've developed it, and then it's all kind of tweaking the script and the story around people's schedules. So if somebody wasn't available on a certain day, you've got to rewrite them out of that day. When you watch it, you'll never know that, but yeah, it's all constantly changing. Like we're reshooting a scene for 10 next week because we shot it before, another scene, and now it doesn't make sense. So it's a little bit of a reshoot, and I think we can do it better.
Some episodes are 5 minutes, some are 10. Was this always the way it was broken down, or again, is this just something that happened during the edit process?
I think that's just happened during the edit process. Each one was supposed to be 5 minutes. Well, I knew when I was writing them, some were going to be slightly longer, but they were all supposed to be about 5 to 7 minutes long each. But I think I prefer the longer episodes. A lot of people have said I get into it more when they're about 10 minutes. It feels like the right sort of time. I think the early episodes being shorter is the initial getting people into it, but then when you're kind of mid-series, and especially to the end, I think 12 is going to be pushing it right up to 15 minutes. If I could get 20 minutes on YouTube, so yeah, 12 is of epic proportions, and I think it's taken about 12 days to shoot, so it's a big one.
And it was always intended as a web series, or had you thought of maybe making a movie?
No, it's always intended as a web series, but it is all going to be stitched together as a movie, so it's all structured with the acts and the way it goes up and down as a film, but it was always designed with all the cliffhangers to work as 12 parts.
What are you filming on? What's the camera?
The camera is the Canon 550D, which is amazing. Depth of field is great. It's really lightweight, so you can fit it anywhere. So yeah, it's a fantastic piece of kit. I'd recommend any web user to use the Canon 550D. That's
actually also one of the less expensive ones as well.
Yeah, the great thing is, if it gets smashed during production, you can easily replace it. But I mean, the picture quality is brilliant. And it's then enhanced all in post-production by my fiancée Steph, who spends hours and hours and hours grading every single shot individually just to get it absolutely perfect.
Tell us about your other filmmaking.
Well, I worked for the BBC for a while, directed some bits and bobs, and I've ended up doing music videos around the world, did a documentary in New York, got nominated for a Royal Television Society Award, Best Action Film at the New York Film Festival. Yeah, I've just been making films since I was about 8 or 9 years old, and just love it. And my ambition in life since I was very little is to direct the 30th James Bond film.
What are we on to now? 26, is it?
No, it's 23 now, so that gives me another 15 or 20 years to make it really big and then get a job as a Bond director. That'd be cool.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you very much.